Yo, 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 what it do, baby? Hey, man. We finally, first of all, we're back, but we finally got a fucking decent primetime game. Look at that. Who would have thunk we needed Andy Dalton in primetime to get some fucking action? What you think about that, Gator, man?
Man, I was watching this game and I was like, bro, these guys literally decided to make up for all the trash games that we've gotten in prime time for like the last 3 weeks. Man, like I think the recipe is just put two trash defenses out there and we got good football.
Hey, man,
That's all it is.
it was literally shocking to everybody. But at the same time, man, I know we got the game up, man, but the most shocking news came during the game, and it wasn't about the game. See my phone light up. I see Adam Schefter. Every time you see Adam Schefter on your phone, you get a little antsy. Christian McCaffrey? I'm like, damn, is he hurt? Traded. Aw, shit. I was like, where's he going? San Francisco, man. The running back guru got the running back. Like, that's the one. Like, he's Himothy. And he's on a great team. So what do you think about just that? Like, how does that affect the whole team? And specifically McCaffrey? I mean, obviously, RB1 the rest of the season. Like, you know, like, you got to start him every week like you have been. But what to expect?
Yeah, so with McCaffrey, first of all, I want to give myself credit because out of all the teams that were involved in the trade talks, I specifically said the 49ers is where he's going to end up. He went to Stanford. He's from out there. They desperately need a running back. Like year after year after year after year. Going back to
Frank Gore.
Yeah, man. Well, Frank Gore was literally the last reliable running back that they had. Year after year, a running back goes down to, they go get put on IR or even season-ending injury, and they need a reliable running back. That's literally the missing piece. And Kyle Shanahan, the mastermind himself, always figures out how to make trash running backs relevant.
Yep.
So give him a stud like McCaffrey. I think it's crazy. It's crazy to say this because he's literally he might be the RB1 or the RB2 rest of the season right now.
Yeah, it's definitely outdated.
I think that even gets better. I think his ceiling is even higher. He's gonna have more opportunities. He's gonna have better blocking schemes,
better O-line. Like
it's exciting. It's just exciting. I'm just excited all around. I'm just excited all around for this man. He's long overdue to have a competent team around him. He's way too big of a talent to, be wasted. They gave him the money for it. And, you're going to be paying a running back on a losing team. That's never going to feel good. So I'm very happy that he went to the 49ers. The only other team I would have wanted him to go to was the Rams because he would have been Todd Gurley 2.0, but better, I feel. Because he is better than Todd Gurley. The guy is a stud.
So my question to you is, I mean, everybody knows how good Christian McCaffrey is, and his snap share is literally elite. But do you think there's any chance like they try to like lower his snap share just a little bit just to make him last longer? Because I think like this 90% snap share is a little too high. I think it's gonna go down to 75% or something like that. That's not to say his production is going to go down because, like we said, he's in a better offense, more red zone, like goal line touches and stuff like that. Just a quarterback who likes passing to, just an efficient quarterback who likes dumping down a veteran. So I don't know, man. I think
McCaffrey is stock up. McCaffrey is a true bell cow. He's a true 3-down back. I think it's going to stay around the 90s. I think once they see that they have a reliable player who can stay on the field, he doesn't need to come off the field. He's going to be on there still. He still should. Obviously not this week because he's going to be on a day and a half, to get acclimated with his team. And not even just a day and a half to get acclimated. So I imagine tomorrow he's going to be traveling, and getting situated and all that. But he's just, year 1 and 2, he was seeing 199% of snaps. He was never coming off the field. He's down in the lower 90s, mid 90s now. So he's coming off the field a little less. but he doesn't need it. Like, he is a true workhorse back. And so I think he's going to stay on the field regardless.
I'm pulling up I'm pulling up the 2 running backs he's going to leave over there to, carry the load over there. Who do you trust? And do you fully trust any of them, to be honest?
I don't fully trust any of them. D'Onta Foreman, we've seen he's had plenty of years already. We've seen what he does. I'm not really like jumping to the waiver wire to pick him up. As you can see, I've already picked him up in both of our sleeper leagues. That is the man Mr. Chuba Hubbard. He has some explosiveness. He's shown that he can hit gaps and hit the dash. He doesn't scream, like crazy talent, but it's a starting running back on waivers. He's gonna get the nod for the starting position. And anytime there's a starting running back on waivers, you have to take it. You have to try to grab him as much as you can. Right now, I got him for free because everybody was watching the game or whatever the case was. But as soon as I saw that, I was like, let me pick up. I had in one of my leagues, I literally had a roster spot. I didn't even have a full roster, so I just picked them up. And in the other one, I just, I dropped an extra defense that I had.
I hope Solid and Swift are listening to this, and this is what I mean by we need to have free agency every day, bro. I mean, not free agency, waivers run every day.
No.
Because props to you. To be honest, I don't see myself starting Foreman or Hubbard at any time this year, unless Hubbard does what he did last year, which was pretty decent, as we can see in a couple games without McCaffrey, where he was getting at least 50% of the snap share. He was averaging, the lowest point total was 9, and the highest was 18. So somewhere around that range, which is decent floor. The ceiling, like you said, the ceiling's not really there. I don't think it's his fault. I think it's the offense. But I'm on the same page with you. I want no pieces of D'Onta Foreman. He's had plenty of opportunities. He's never been that guy.
He's never been able to carve out a role anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's why he's bounced around the league so much. That's why I'm not running to him. I'm running to the young, not a rookie, but he's on his second year.
Good enough.
Second year, and they're gonna give him the shot, bro. He's gonna give him the nod. He has shown potential, and we're gonna see it. To me, if you have a roster spot, if you have somebody that if you have somebody you've been stashing that hasn't really shown up, this is a starting running back, not fantasy starting running back, but a starting running back on an NFL team.
And he's
gonna see opportunity,
and he's gonna see opportunity anyways. So.
Yeah.
Foreman's not taking that away from him. But talking about potential coming to fruition, we got the boy Eno, man. Team Eno is back and better than ever, bruh. After watching this game, I think to myself, why has this man not been playing more, even with James Conner there? Because he's clearly a better pass catcher. He clearly has more explosive, more juice. He's not the in-between the tackles runner. But, honestly, man, I thought Eno Benjamin looked phenomenal today.
Yeah, you say he's not the in-between the tackles running, but he had quite a few runs that was between the tackles. That run, the touchdown run, man, that was between the tackles, broke tackles, carried people, bro. And I was so excited, man. I was streaming the game on my Discord with a couple buddies. I was so excited when that man scored because that was a angry run, and the way he leaned back and stretched out. As soon as I saw it, I saw that he was flat, stretching back. Man, that was a really nice touchdown.
He got the Yakum in there and got it in for the tud. I was happy it got overturned because your boy started him this week.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I love, man. I've been saying this. I'm saying he's not the in-between the tackles runner because that's kind of like when he was coming out of college, that was one of his downfalls or how Kingsbury has been using him. He hasn't really been trusting him with that workload. I even want to get into Keontae Ingram. I feel like he was being run in between the tackles a lot this game. He wasn't super efficient, but if you're running through the teeth of, hey man, all I'm saying is keep Eno on this team and like keep using him. Even with Connor back, I still think this should be like a James Robinson, Travis Etienne type of split. That's what I'm saying. Like it should be 50-50.
Yeah, and if you go back to it from last year, they were pretty much splitting work when Chase Edmonds was there. So
absolutely,
I could definitely see that happening. I myself have some concerns about James Conner, the longevity, at least for this particular season. I know we were talking about it before we started recording that he did get a contract extension, but for this year I just have some concerns. He hasn't been good, and it just reminds me of his last year in Pittsburgh. He got nicked up a little bit, and then he spent the whole year hurt. He had a couple games here and there that were decent, but I have some concerns about Connor.
The thing about Connor is he was inefficient last year, averaging only 3.7 yards a carry, and he's literally at that same mark this year. While Eno just busted out this game with I think it was over 7 yards a carry.
Yeah, 12 for 91, I think it was.
Yeah, 12 for 92, 7.7 yards a carry. But I think the biggest story is, I'm going to let you introduce him, man. Go ahead, man. Do your thing. That's my favorite
player. Yeah, my man. My man dropping nukes out here, bro. How are we feeling, bro? Hey, Nuke Fantasy, if you put up with those 6 weeks and you have a winning record like myself, and you have Nuke coming into your roster, man, oof. It's like if you're Thanos and you have the last stone and you put it in your gauntlet, man. Yo, I feel so good seeing him ball. He didn't need those PEDs. I'm sure he was taking it to get back from some kind of injury or something. He's a stud. Hands. He did start a little bit slow, but you saw the route running, you saw the catches,
man.
And you saw what we've been saying. When he gets back, this offense is gonna be able to move the chains and stay on the field.
That's what I was gonna get at.
Raises everybody's ceiling. Yep. Everybody's not ceiling, the floor. Everybody's floor
and is higher because they got more tutty outside.
And they're ceiling, yeah, that too, because they're gonna be staying on the field. It just raises everybody's projections. The whole team. Kyler, even though Kyler didn't do too well, that's because most of their touchdowns came on. Well, one, the DST, and two, their running backs. The running backs took, I think, 3 touchdowns this game.
They had 2 tutties and 2 defensive tutties.
Exactly. So, they had exactly. So,
yeah, you're absolutely right. The thing I see is 14 targets, and it's his first game back. Kyler Murray threw the ball 29 times. 14 of them went to this man. That's almost 50% target share. And obviously, I do think with Hollywood, maybe this isn't that high. Maybe it's not 14, but I still think you're seeing 11.
50% target share.
Yeah.
So 14.
That's literally, oh, my bad. I said 14% target share?
Yeah.
Oh, no, man. 50%, man. 5-0 almost. Just got hyper targeted. You saw D-Hop be D-Hop. His longest catch was 18 yards, which means he wasn't really catching bombs. But like you said, moving chains, bro. He's moving chains all the time. He's still getting the back shoulder fades in there. He's never been a burner. He's never been somebody to like blow by people deep. He's 4-5 guy, whatever. He's somebody who gets open at the catch point better than just about any receiver personally I've seen in a long time. So, man, this is my favorite player for a reason, man. I'm happy to see him back. I'm upset I don't have him on my team, man, but at least somebody's using him and somebody's been hyping him up as much as I've hyped him up my whole fucking life, basically. So he's in the right hands right now.
I do think that they did target him a little bit more than they needed to, just because it was his first game back and they were trying to get him back in the motions. Even with all that going on, I still saw Zach Ertz be involved. Same casual thing, moving the sticks. They had him a couple plays where they had him at literally just get to the sticks, throwing the ball, the 2-point conversion. So if Taysom Hill doesn't have a 34-point or nearly 35-point week, he's still the tight end 3. So I'm not concerned about Zach Ertz's involvement when it comes to that. I think he's still going to eat, but the whole team in general is just I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see them build on this.
I agree. And jumping over to the Saints side, man, Chris Olave doing it again. Talking about 14 targets for Nuke, 14 targets for Olave. Just looks like the clear guy there. I know we don't have Michael Thomas. I know they don't have Jarvis Landry, but honestly, man, I don't care. I think when they come back, he's still going to be the one, and his touchdown upside is going to be higher. Kamara's getting his feet going. I think Saints are looking up regardless of the score and how like their defense didn't play as bad as the score indicates. 28 points they gave up on a bunch of short fields. It is what it is. Just in general, Kamara's looking good. The offense is looking good. Olave's looking good. And this is without MT back. So I think you feel very confident with those pieces over there.
I mean, you look at it, 14 of the Cardinals' points were from defensive touchdowns, two pick sixes. So they were short a lot more. They were missing some people, but they still look good for the most part. It's just D-Hop is that guy, So without Lattimore, it's hard to stop him. So I mean, not much to take away. Alvin Kamara, I know some people might be concerned, just because of the touchdown issues. It's gonna happen, man. Just guys, Winston is gonna come back. He's gonna get more play. Like,
guys, relax on the Kamara touchdowns. He's literally getting a bunch of work all the time. I know Taysom Hill's kind of a bit of an issue, but if your running back is getting 9 targets and catching 7 of them, you don't care. Like, he has a floor. His ceiling has not been touched yet because he hasn't scored all season. This is the man who typically used to score around 10 touchdowns a year. He hasn't scored all season. His time is coming. And I think with that, man, talking about players whose time is coming, we got the Saucy Takes, man. Saucy Take section of the week, man. We got to transition into it. I actually think we should start with the man whose time is literally here. Our quarterback start of the week, man. Taylor Heineke. As I call him Mr. Hen Dog because he off that juice every time he's out there, man. He just plays reckless, and it's typically good for your fantasy teams. They got him listed over here, quarterback 23, and we have him as our start of the week, man. Top 12. Finish. Book it.
Yeah. I think Haneke, he's great, man. Not great, but like he's great in terms of what they have. He is not afraid to throw the ball and let his playmakers make a play. He's a player, bro. He's a baller. You see him make these plays that some other people would just kind of like slide or throw the ball out of bounds. He's a baller, bro. He's a guy with a chip on his shoulder. He was literally taken off the street. I think he was working at a supermarket or something.
Yep.
When they took him, bro,
it was like a Home Depot or some shit.
Yeah, something, and he literally has a chip on his shoulder. He's still on the roster, obviously, and I think it'll be refreshing for the team to have somebody else step in. We've seen the trend when it comes to backup quarterbacks in the league, so I'm pretty confident in this start of the week here.
And he has rushing upside. I want to state here, last year he actually played against the Packers. He passed for almost 270 yards, only had 1 touchdown, but he had 10 carries for 95 yards. And that's something that he's going to provide or has the upside to provide, and I think he very well could. The Packers haven't exactly looked great this year. So I expect this to be, a nice game for this Washington receiving group and the offense just to get going. So I think we're pretty safe with him being our, take a starter of the week, 100%.
Yeah.
And talk to the people, man, about your running back start of the week, man.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna double dip once again, but this time on the boom. Last time I double dipped on the Najee bus train, but this time I'm going back to the Zeke boom. They have him currently at number 17. They are playing the Detroit Lions. And I don't know if you guys recall what Rashad Penny did to this team. But I have a feeling Zeke is going to fall into the end zone twice for real this time. And I see a top 5 finish for this, man. I'm calling a top 5 finish for my boy Zeke. I do think the Cowboys in general are going to have a great outing with Dak being back. Zeke is going to have more opportunity. The whole team, just in general, is going to have more opportunities in the red zone. They should be a lot more efficient. So yeah, mark them down, pin them down. Top 5 finish for Zeke.
I love it, man. My take is, we got Najee. He was a bust for you last week. I think it's Najee season now, man. I think he's fully healthy. They got him listed at running back 19. I got him top 8 this week. I know he's playing the Dolphins. The Dolphins were low-key playing very good against Dalvin Cook until Dalvin Cook scored that 50-yard tutty. But I think Najee's going to get it going. I think Pittsburgh finally, I feel like they're, it's trending up for them after beating Tampa. They're feeling confident. They're going out there and balling. And another thing that I like is Tua is going to be back. So I expect this game to be a little bit more high scoring. I expect Najee to get a little more involved. And I don't know, man. I have a good feeling about Najee. I think he's due. I think he's recovered or almost 100% from his injury. So I do like his outlook this week specifically against the Dolphins. And it's a primetime game. I feel like Najee always shows up in primetime games.
Yeah, Najee has a good history of playing when the lights are brightest. Seeing that he was off the injury reports is really reassuring for me. I believe in his talent. He's a big running back, another one of these true bell cow running backs that can handle the workload. He just needs to be healthy so that he can actually handle it. And seeing him off the reports is reassuring. I do think it's time for Najee to start picking up where he left off last year.
Yes, sir. Take us to the to the bust.
Oh man, we going with the bust. Yo, I know some people are not gonna like this one, but Breece Hall, man, I think that's gonna be a bust. I think that whole team is gonna come back down. They're gonna be humbled a little bit. Breece Hall owners have kind of been spoiled the last couple weeks with these major games that he's had. They have him at running back 11. I do think he's going to finish outside the top 24 this week. They're playing the Broncos, and the Broncos defense is stellar. They are playing lights out. If it wasn't for the defense, the Broncos would be getting blown out every game, and they are holding opponents. I think the average is 17 points. So I am not expecting the Jets to score and be able to move the ball as easily as they have, unless their defense, yet again, steps up and puts them in positions to score, which I don't think is going to be the case.
I don't hate it. I do think Breece is still going to be decent this week. I think he's still a start, personally. I mean, you have him going, outside the top?
Outside top 24.
Okay. 24. Yeah, I mean, so he could be a borderline flex play, I guess. Yeah, I don't know, man. This volume is looking mighty saucy, and I think Denver in general, I don't know. I have a good feeling about Breece. I don't think he's going to be that, I think 11 is a bit high, but like you said, they have been spoiled. He's been literally elite running back 6 so far on the year. He was on a lot of people's fade list to start the year, and he's just proved everybody wrong.
Yeah, and top 24 right now is about 10.5 points in PPR scoring. So I think that's around where he gets. I just think they're gonna struggle to get yards, man. This Broncos defense is stingy, and he's a rookie. This might be the best defense he's faced all year.
Yes, sir. And speaking of, I don't even want to talk about. Yeah, speaking of defenses who are elite, I think New England is up there. They've been talking about stingy. They have not been giving up anything. So the fact that they have David Montgomery, who is ranked 20th this week, I think he's a sit this week. I don't even think he's just I don't even think he's just a bust this week. I think he's a bench this week. I don't think he's worthy of even a flex spot. I have him going outside the top 35, which is typically around 9 points. I think if he hits 9 points, 10 points, I think you're feeling great, because I don't know, man. There's every time, Last week they did it with Khalil Herbert. He got on the field. He had like a 64-yard carry in his first touch. Like, just give him the ball more, and I think they're gonna notice it. Justin Fields isn't throwing this man the ball. They're playing New England at New England. Mac Jones is supposed to be coming back. But I think the Patriots are even going to look even better. And I don't know. I'm off Montgomery, for those who know the misspell that game.
Yeah, man. How do you misspell your own player's name on their jersey, bro? I don't get that.
Herbert is better, man. Herbert's season is fully there. Even the staff knows it, man. It's not just me.
Man, so quick question. Since you are saying not even just a fade, it's a full-on sit. So are you starting Clyde over Montgomery versus San Francisco?
Clyde was almost. I told you I wanted a double dip at Clyde bench. So no, I am not starting. I think if you're between those two, I think you're kind of fucked. I'll be honest.
Okay, so what about Travis Etienne, who they have at 21?
100% starting him over David Montgomery.
AJ Dillon versus Washington, 27.
Starting Dillon over Montgomery. I'm
asking because these are some players. These are legit options that some people might have behind Montgomery. Kareem Hunt is another one that some people might have. He was a late round draft pick. You know,
Brian Robinson over Montgomery. I think Pollard and Montgomery are kind of the same line. I think Raheem Mostert is a start over Montgomery. There's just a lot of people I'm taking over him this week.
Okay.
I'm not taking Latavius or Gordon because I don't know what that split is going to be. So I do think he has like guaranteed carries. And I don't know how I feel about Drake as a Ravens fan. Dobbins hasn't practiced, but Gus is practicing. He's supposed to play. Justice Hill is practicing. And last time Hill was healthy and Drake was on the team, Hill was getting all the carries. So I don't really know how that's going to work. But some of these guys I'm taking over him. So, yeah, that's just, I don't know. Maybe that's too saucy, but shit, I don't know, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm fading him.
You got him.
To eternity.
You got him what? Outside the top 35, you said?
35, yes, sir.
Sheesh. Yeah. Like I think maybe, man, I think they just need, that team revolves too much around the run game, but I can definitely see that it's mainly that New England defense, man. They have been even stingier. They have been the most stingy defense in the last couple weeks.
The only defense to stop Nick Chubb this year.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that New England defense is no joke, and I can definitely get on. Outside the top 35 is rough, but I can definitely see that happening. I can definitely see this team struggling to score anything.
I thought it's funny, too, because you were off camera. You said, oh, how come you don't have Nick Chubb as your fade of the week? Because he's playing Baltimore. Yeah. I was like, brother, listen here, man. Nick Chubb fucks us up, bro. This man has a vendetta against the entire city of Baltimore, the entire state of Maryland. He just hates them. So no.
There you go, guys. If you were concerned about Nick Chubb because of what happened,
fuck no.
Yeah, go ahead. Start that, man. He does have. I did have Nick Chubb this season that he torched you guys for 3 touchdowns.
Bro, like 180 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I had that. I had him and I think I was like 0-3 when that happened. So I really needed that, man. He really won me a week. So start Nick Chubb.
What's funny
reassurance there.
Later on in that year, the Ravens' run defense had been the best run defense in the league. But, after that Nick Chubb game, up until we played him again, and everybody, I'm like, all right, man, we got a chance to stop
redemption.
Big. That motherfucker ran for 150 and 2 tutties, bro. I was like, God damn, somebody stop him, bro.
Yeah, man. It's kind of like Zeke versus the Eagles, bro. Yeah, it's one of these in-division plays, man.
He was just babying Patrick Queen, stiff arming the shit out of our corners. It was a rough. I hate playing Nick Chubb. Sadly, they don't have Baker anymore because we used to kill Baker Mayfield. But speaking of receivers, man, let's go into some receiver booms, man. Go ahead with your man right here.
Oof, you want to talk about my boom? Look, I was going through the list, and some of them I liked a lot of receivers this week that were outside the top 24, and just people. I felt like they were too low. I could see just because of the situation matchups. I'm going with Drake London, bro. Drake London, they have him at 25. Yep. I think he will have a top 25, top 15 finish this week. I do see the Falcons being down early to Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's kind of hitting their stride. They're kind of getting back into form. You saw what happened last week. with Mr. Burr and Jamar Chase over there. And I think they're gonna they're gonna go ahead and keep it moving, man. And they're gonna have to throw. They're gonna have to throw, and I see London having a nice floor with some touchdown upside here.
I think he's due. He started off the year pretty hot. He's had a couple like three catches, 50-yard games in there. I think he's due. I think he probably gets into the end zone this week. So, and like you said, they probably got to throw the ball to actually keep up. I hope Atlanta pulls off another upset and beats Cincinnati, just because I'm selfish. But my boom, it's a stack, man. We talked about Heineke. We got to talk about his number one man, bro. He doesn't play, man. He you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Ryan Fitzpatrick back when he was on the Dolphins. That motherfucker came in. He was slinging that shit to Devontae Parker. He did not give a fuck if he was double covered, if he was triple covered. He was throwing to him and he was throwing to Gesicki all the time. I think Heineke has that same obsession with Terry McLaurin. I don't know. Maybe McLaurin likes this man. Like he invites him over to the house. I don't know what they got going on, but they definitely homies. And they got Terry at 27, which is utterly disrespectful for a man of his caliber. He has not popped off this year, but he has not had his running mate with him, Taylor Heineke. Last year, like I said, Washington played Green Bay, and in the game that they played him, Terry had 11 targets, 7 catches for 122 and a tutty. That's damn near 26 fantasy points. Just went absolutely crazy, and I expect nothing less than 20 points. So he's ranked 27. I got him top 15. I might even go as high as top 12. It would not shock me.
Yeah, man. You see, you might not know what it is, but I'll tell you what it is. Heineke knows a stud when he sees one, and he knows Terry McLaurin is a stud. He creates space, gets contested catches. I am not mad. I'm actually in love with this pick. I've loved Terry McLaurin ever since he came out of Ohio State, and I do love that opportunity he's going to get. I hope Heineke does funnel him the ball the way that we're used to seeing, and I agree with you. We should see Terry, maybe not go crazy, but he should definitely finish as a borderline wide receiver one this year. This week.
Yeah, man. I'm happy for Terry. Finally getting his opportunity now with this quarterback. And low key, I think this is probably like the most consistent running back they've had in a while, because Brian Robinson just gets some yards. Like he's not trying to break out touchdown runs going outside. He just, gets 4 or 5 yards. So I think that's going to help with this offense. And Heineke he's going to figure out a way to keep the offense flowing. And I think they're going to put up points against Green Bay. I really, really do. Green Bay has been not very impressive to me this year. So take it away with your bust right here.
My bust, man. My bust of the week. I felt like this was way too high of a ranking. Mr. Hot Lockett. They have him at wide receiver 14. First of all, Mr. Lockett has not been a PPR. He's not one of these guys that gets a bunch of targets. He's more of a home run threat. So I don't see. He needs big bombs and touchdowns to get up here in the top 14, and I don't see that happening. I don't know why they have him here at the top 14, especially after what happened last week. The teams just looked horrible. I think it's one of these Hot Lockett weeks where he just doesn't perform as well. He doesn't get the volume. He doesn't get the yards. So I see him outside the top 30 out here.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. Top 14 is crazy. And actually, just looking at the stats, top 14, just an average points a game is around 16. So that is a lot of points, I feel like, for a man, unless he scores a touchdown. But touchdowns are very vulnerable. I mean, volatile, not vulnerable, obviously. Very volatile. So they're, it's not something you can predict. And I agree. I think I was a week early on the Geno Smith bust, and I think he's finally coming back down to earth after last week. I think this week is going to be some more of that. I think you're going to see the Chargers defensive line get after him and just kind of disrupt this and he might be getting guarded by Tariq Woolen, who shout out Tariq Woolen, not Tariq Woolen. He's going to be getting guarded by Asante Samuel Jr. And that's my dog right there, bro. So Tariq Woolen is on his team on the Seahawks, and he's been clamping shit up too. So Mike Williams might be in for another tough week. But yeah, man, Tyler Lockett as a fade, love to see it.
Yeah, he's a huge fade for me. If you have, I don't know, he'd be a hard start for me this week if you have other options.
My fade is none other but the TikTok dancer himself, Juju Smith-Schuster. Every time I see Juju creep up into the mid-20s, low 20s, 22, 21, I hate it, dude. I don't think he's consistent enough. I think this man is the definition of just overrated in terms of like people. I think everybody remembers his rookie year, and he hasn't really done much since then as a player. So I'm not really on board with Juju at 24. I think he's going to be more outside, like top 40, top 35-ish. I don't know. Last week he scored his first touchdown, his first 100 yard receiving game, and his targets are pretty consistent. But San Fran has very good defense, and I think this is going to be a game where I don't know how this game is going. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game for Kansas City than expected. I just think they're gonna that San Fran team is gonna bounce back after getting dogged by Atlanta. Teams typically don't like to lose twice in a row. So that's my take on this. I think expect 9 points from him. I think 4 for 50, 5 for 40.
Single digits?
Yeah, single digits, 10 max. I actually was looking top 40 typically is around like 10 points, 10.5 points. So, I mean, yeah, somewhere like that, maybe 10.5 max, maybe 11, but I doubt it, man. I'm just off of Juju this week.
So they got him at 24 at about 12 points this week. I think he hits that threshold, man. Like you said, and the main reason why, because it's full PPR and he has consistent targets. That's the reason why I think he's a weekly flex consideration. And that's what you drafted him for. You didn't really pay a high draft price for him, but I can definitely see what you're saying because the San Francisco defense is also one of these really good defenses. They're just relentless. Last week, guys, if you are, thinking that the San Francisco defense from last week is what you're going to see every week, please don't. They literally had their entire defensive line out. And that's not going to happen again. Even if Bosa doesn't play, there's still a really good D-line, So as long as they're not down 4 starters, I think they'll be all right.
I think they'll be fine as well, man. I think it's fitting. We go into our weekly pick'ems, man. We've been doing this every single week, no hesitation, since I think this is the 4th week that we do it. So our records currently, just for those following along, I am currently, I want to say I was 13.
12, you're 12.
Oh, 14 and yeah. So I'm 12 and 3. Sorry, yeah, and you're 13
12
and 2.
3, and I'm 13 and 2.
Correct. So it's pretty close. Last week was your worst week. You went 3 and 2 last week. I made up a little bit of ground, which is crazy because you were still positive. But let's hop right into it, man. We got the first, man. I'm just gonna go in order. I don't bring myself up first because I'm selfish, man. That's the way Sleeper has it, man. Because the team's been playing good. I'll be honest. I think I am winning this week. I don't think he has a chance, maybe a fighter's chance. But Jeff Wilson being in his starting lineup, him having Clyde, who's one of my fades, or almost was one of my fades this week. I don't know. I'm not a fan of his team. Eno getting me 23 and Olave getting me 17, getting me damn near 41 points from those two was a great start to my Thursday. So I'm feeling good.
It definitely was.
And I think this is Lamar's bounce back game. He's had a rough couple weeks. Bateman has been out, but the bat signal, the bat signal is back up in the air over MTNT Stadium. They're calling for Rashad, and he's gonna pull through, man, because Lamar needs him. We signed Deshaun Jackson. I don't know if you saw that, man.
Yeah.
Right out of retirement, we said, "Sir, bring your crutches on ass over here, man, because our receivers suck."
I saw that, man. Bringing in 35-year-old Deshaun Jackson was wild. But that man is an elite
Deep threat.
down the field threat.
Yeah.
So I still think he has the speed. That's if there's a reason why he's coming back, and it's because he still feels he can play.
And because the Ravens receivers are bad, but yeah.
That too. There's holes to fill over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm sticking with you here. I just think Tony is suffering from bye weeks this week.
Yep.
And he doesn't even have a second quarterback to start. So I'm picking. I am sticking with Saucy on this one. And we'll take it on to the next one.
Yeah, I think it's pretty simple. My only question for you is, I have DJ Moore starting in my flex spot. I don't feel super confident. Is there anybody you think I should start over him? I would probably start Thielen, but he's on a bye. Dobbins is not going to be playing this week, so I'm probably between Etienne and DJ Moore.
Dylan. Well, I would consider Dylan here because DJ is in your flex spot. So I would definitely consider Dylan against Washington. I do think that the Packers need a get-right game after losing 2 in a row. I understand they're not as good as last year, but they still have the 2-time MVP behind center. So
okay. And for Tony, there's nothing you do different here. He has MVS starting.
He needs to hit waivers. Anytime he's trying to pull a solid here and start, 2 tight ends.
Why is he benching Brian Robinson?
Yeah, maybe because of projections. Who knows? But I don't see anything else that he can do different. Maybe just slot in Clyde instead of Wilson now that McCaffrey is out there, and they already said they're going to have him in red zone packages, and we already know those are the most valuable touches in fantasy because that is where you could score. So
I feel like this is a fair question to ask you: Brian Robinson or Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Ooh, see, I think I'll still go with Clyde just because they use him in the red zone quite frequently, and we saw a lot of Brian Robinson last week. But what did John Rivera say after the game? More Antonio Gibson.
That's
and that said? Is not. Yeah, that is not what we want to hear.
Brother, Ron Rivera, I think he has PTSD because he was in the military. Shout out to his efforts, but man, he be tripping sometimes at these press conferences.
After the game, he said he wanted to get Gibson more involved, so that's not reassuring whatsoever. So I'll take Clyde, who, he's had a couple of down weeks, but we cannot forget this man's start. And I don't think Kansas City will forget about how this man was producing for them. They need to give him the touches. They've kind of had a downturn in just running back production as a whole. So I do think they'll maybe try to refocus and get Clyde involved again. So I would start Clyde there.
I can see where you're going with that. Definitely. I'm probably leaning Robinson a little bit. I do think he's talk about goal line back. He is literally the goal line back there. Like, I don't think Gibson is getting those touches. I think he's going to be the short distance back as well. I think anything that has to do with carrying the football, he's going to do. And I would just rather have the guy who has more just consistent touches. I do understand the touchdown upside, but like I said, I think this might be a tough week just for Kansas City to move the ball if because Kelsey's going to be seeing probably what is like the best linebacker in football in Fred Warner. So
yeah.
Moving on to the next game, man. It's your boy over there, man. You're going up against Just. I want to state something. Everybody has, literally every single matchup this week has the same exact record except for Swift because nobody is 0-6 except for this man. I don't know. That's all I had to say, man. I'm 4-2. My matchup's 4-2. You're 5-1, and Just is 5-1. Her only loss courtesy of your boy. So I'm very proud of doing that. But tell me who you're taking after having Kamara and D-Hop play very well for you.
Yeah, I mean, you already know what I'm going to do, man. I'm going to take myself out here. not to be biased, but I am very confident in my team. I think she has Cup on bye, so and Goddard. So I'm very confident. She has Connor as well that didn't get to play, and Keenan is expected to play,
I'm not
but
trusting him this week though.
yeah, I'm not very confident in Keenan. So she's out 4 starters, maybe
Yeah.
5, and all my guys are still playing, man. I'm very confident that I'm gonna give her that second loss, and I'm gonna take myself in this win.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna take you as well. I think for the same reasons you stated. I don't think I should go too much into detail. You have literally just about everybody playing except for Daryl Henderson, and I don't think that hurts anybody. So it is what it is. I don't think I'd do anything differently looking at your team. Maybe James Robinson, I would bench him for Curtis Samuel. Maybe. I don't know. Mac Jones I'd probably start Mac Jones over Russell Wilson, but I understand that's probably controversial.
I just think Russell Wilson is due to pop off, and he's my QB too. Yeah. I'm gonna keep him there until
you can afford to keep him there because you got Patrick Mahomes. So
exactly. So I mean, the thing with that is he is a little bit nicked up as well. So maybe I might have to start Mac Jones if he doesn't play. But we'll see. I believe in Russell Wilson. I don't think what's happening is entirely his fault. There's just seems to be a disconnect as in the team as a whole on the offensive side, because the defense is playing lights out every week. The offense just seems, man, Sutton, Judy, like everybody's the running back situation. Everything is down on the offense for that team, and I think Russ has to take it upon himself. We need to see the Russ that we were seeing the first, I believe, 6 games last year before he had that injury, where he was playing lights out. And, people think that last year he was bad. He wasn't bad. He was playing through an injury.
Yeah, he was bad after he came back and he was playing through that injury. But at the beginning of the year, he was literally going crazy.
Yeah, so I think he's maybe not this week, but like you said, I can afford to keep starting him weekly as he is my QB too. And I'm going to keep him in there until, I have a better option, and I don't think Mac Jones is a better option.
I'm going to be honest with you. I probably, after further thought, I do think I'm benching Russ this week for Mac Jones. If Mac Jones does play, obviously this is a Monday game, so that makes it just that much trickier. But I don't know if you've seen the Jets' defensive line is literally going beast mode. Quinnen Williams has been the best interior pass rusher in all of football this year. He has the highest,
their defense sacks, has been good,
highest pressure percentage, and Russell Wilson hates pressure, especially up the middle. And that's exactly where Quinnen Williams is going to line up and just fire all those guards and centers out the way so he can get to the QB. But that said, I'm still taking you, man. I'm not going to lie. I think you're going to be 6-1, and hopefully I catch up to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough when I keep winning every week, but my only loss was week 1, unfortunately.
It's not about how you start, man. A wise man once told me that. Wise man is blurry cloud.
Exactly.
We'll get to his game later.
And my week 1 loss was because I got 176 dropped on me. I put up 151, which is very good.
Very good.
But when you have 176, you need to have monster performances. And I didn't have that. Or at least not enough to take it. So I'm confident that I'm going to take week 7 and broaden that lead on the first place.
Just know I'm coming for you. Don't you dare let your foot off the gas, man.
Which is why I need to keep winning, sir.
Yeah. So we got here though talking about. I mean, one of these players isn't coming for anything. Jesus Christ, Swift.
Yeah.
Swift versus El Carbo. He got El Carbo has CMC, so we'll see how that goes this week. Is there anything you would do different first of all for El Carbo? He's starting Robert Woods in his flex spot and Hayden Hurst. I mean, Hayden Hurst is chilling, but he's got Waller.
If Waller plays, I would start him in my flex spot just because it is a tight end premium. But that being said, I mean this is gonna be a running theme with him because he made that huge trade for CMC.
Trade. Speaking of that trade, that trade looks a little better now, boy. I tell you,
it does look better, but I mean,
tell you that
he doesn't have a lot of depth to be making changes like that. You know, he does have Tua back, so he has his QB2 back. It's tough. I do think I hate to say it, man, but I think 0-7 incoming for Swift, man.
Bro, I thought you were gonna say he was gonna win, bro.
No, bro. Shit, I think 0-7 is coming for Swift. I don't know if you saw. I had to get
close to the camera right there. I was like,
yeah. I hate to say it. I want Swift to get his first win, man. But with Cook on bye, Stafford on bye, it's tough, bro. He's getting Swift back likely this week, but
yeah,
you have Kenny Pickett starting.
He has
and Matt Ryan.
Some of just the most unfortunate circumstances. I will say I like the trade he made for Matt Ryan this week. Traded 50 fab and got Matt Ryan in a super flex. I think that is very good for somebody who just threw the ball 60 times. Opportunities are everything. So do I think he's gonna win this week? No. Do I think he has a chance? Yeah, I do actually, because I think it's really dependent on. I think he needs his best players to be elite. I think he needs Swift. I think he needs Aaron Jones. I think he needs CeeDee Lamb, and I think he also needs Bateman to come back and be what he's wanted Bateman to be, which was like he wide receiver 2-ish. He needs Bateman to come back and cook.
Get a home run, one of these home run bombs, and see if he hits on these. I do think CD is gonna have a big week. Yep. Dak is back, but he has Mooney starting, and like we previously stated, that New England defense is no joke.
He had Taysom play. I wish they would have gave Taysom the ball more. That Saints offense started getting a little ugly when they stopped putting Taysom on the field. So, I'm still sticking with El Carbo. I think we're pretty chalked right now. It's kind of guys. Sometimes it's like that. And we got, speaking of Blurry Clapper, with Big Flex right here. This is another 3-3 matchup. Who are you taking in this? I mean, what would you do different, first of all, for Blurry Clapper, considering Rondale Moore got him a whopping 4 points this week?
Yeah, very upsetting. We've been talking about Rondale Moore for a couple weeks now. We saw a little bit of Greg Dortch. Greg Dortch got into the end zone this game.
Yep.
So it's unfortunate what happened. Rondale Moore, I think, was like one of the very first plays from the Cardinals. He got that big pass and then ran after, but he is missing Josh Allen, Miles Sanders, Stephon Diggs. I mean, it's by apocalypse is hitting this man, and he's gonna feel it. I think Blurry is gonna take a loss here. He's just, the depth is shot right now with the bye week, so I don't think there's much he can do different. I think this is gonna be a big flex week, and for big flex, he has his guys back. Pierce was on bye, and I think he has it. We talked about the Falcons, yeah. He has an easier matchup.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned before, I think the Falcons are gonna have to throw. Pitts caught a touchdown last week. I don't want to say he's gonna be a must start every week because we already saw most of the season, but it's something to build on.
I would probably start Freiermuth over Pitts. The Dolphins have been pretty bad against tight ends this year. They've actually given up a lot of touchdowns to tight ends. Cough, Mark Andrews.
Mm-hmm.
I just but for real though, like the Dolphins have struggled guarding tight ends for as long as I can remember. To be honest, they've kind of always had kind of mediocre linebackers to cover them. So I don't know. I've seen Cincinnati, Logan Wilson, their linebacker is very good against tight ends. So I think I'm probably leaning Freiermuth a little bit. That's what I would do different for Kevin. I think he has his lineup set exactly correctly.
Big Flex has two of our booms. Ayuk was also almost my boom of the week. He was almost on my boom of the week as well, but Debo, who we both think is going to go nuclear this week, McLaurin, like I just think he has a lot of, like we said, Zeke, Damian Pierce is back versus. I just think he has a lot of good matchups, and he's going to get a win here.
If Dalton Schultz starts, I don't know if you notice, every time I talk about like one of these players and I throw him into the waiver section, Blurry Clapper, in whatever league they're available, he goes and picks them up.
I've seen it. Yeah.
He's a consistent listener and sniper of the show. Shout out to homie for starting K Dotton, bro. If you have K Dotton this week, if he's on waivers and you need to stream a tight end, please go grab yourself some K Dotton. He actually had, the only game that he started with Cameron Braid out, he had 48 routes ran at tight end, which is the most all season.
I did not know that.
Opportunity.
But it does not surprise me. I mean,
exactly. Talk about opportunity, man. That's the guy.
Tom Brady loves slot receivers and loves tight ends. So having someone who can run those routes like that, it's definitely a positive sign. I think I didn't even notice that this man has Jefferson sitting this week because of bye. And I still think he's going to get this win. I think all of his players are in line to have really good weeks.
Thing is, Kevin's team is, starting Pollard, starting Moore, starting Judy. His team is when I say very, it's very boomer bust.
Yeah.
The only guys who provide any sort of consistency are all on buys. Allen, Diggs, and even Miles Sanders. So, we'll see how it goes for him.
Miles Sanders is top 5 in rushing rushing yards, right?
Man. Kevin, man, he traded for Miles Sanders because I told him I was high as fuck on Miles Sanders. This man is. I'm gonna stop talking to this man, bro. He be taking.
He's a truther, bro. He's a saucy truther. I love it.
Yeah, man, but that was behind the scenes, man. That's behind the scenes, man. You're not supposed to do that to me. And going to I believe this is the matchup of the week, as a matter of fact, because not only is it between Hunter and Solid, I think it is. They're both 2-4. You don't want to go down 2-5. I think that's one thing you don't want to do in this league. So I think these two teams are fighting for their lives. The projection has them literally neck and neck, 52%. Like it's a 4-point difference. Talk to me about Hunter's team this week. Is there any sit starts you're doing differently and why?
I mean, we already talked about Montgomery, where we're fading him against New England. AJ Brown is on bye. So the only real question for me here would be if I want to put Damian Harris in. Do I think Damian Harris is gonna be able to overtake one of his running backs? And I mean, even though Breece Hall, I'm fading this week versus Denver, Damian Harris is coming back from injury. The Chicago defense is pretty good. It's not no slouch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tough. I think I would stick with Montgomery. I mean, I'm sorry, with Breece Hall over Harris and Montgomery. So I think he has everyone that should be slotted in. As for Solid, well, you tell me. What do you think about Hunter's team? Would you do anything differently here?
I would not do anything different. Also, want to note, homie picked up Greg Dulcich, man.
Yes, he did.
y'all coming to the right person for your tight ends. Let me tell you, I smacked on Everett, smacked on Dulcich. I'm very high on Otten. I don't know. I have this thing with tight ends. I don't know what it is.
Let's see if we hit on Tunyon, right?
Oh yeah, Tunyon. Let's see if we smack on Tunyon.
48% owned. Now he's owned.
About time. I don't know. I do want to say though, I think his team is perfectly set up this week. I'm not starting Damian Harris, not only because I don't really know. Not only because, I think Breece Hall is better, but I also don't fully know if Damian Harris is going to play and how much he's going to play because it's a Monday night game. So it's it's a risk I don't think he should take because his running backs are pretty decent. So I don't think it's too much of a drop off if Harris does play, or too much of a gain if like the risk reward isn't there for me to be like, fuck it, I'm not starting Mostert who's getting 20 touches or Breece Hall who's getting 20 touches. And Solid's team, some of these, Eckler needs to show up for him. Higgins needs to show up for him. Because Higgins has had a rough couple weeks. He started my boy Alec Pierce. I think he's finally taking notes. I had to talk to him because I don't know, man. He just be sleeping on the. I don't know. He'd be sleeping on certain players. I think the fact that Jalen Hurts is on a bye is really hurting his chances right here.
It is. I agree.
I don't know if there's anything he can do though, because I'm definitely starting Jacoby Myers this week. I think he's a must start for me, as a matter of fact. I think both of these teams this is gonna be a very close game in my opinion, or at least that's what it's projected to be. I like the Pittman versus Pierce thing here going on. It just makes me smile a little bit. Tough part is I believe he has. Oh, never mind. I thought he had. For some reason I thought he had Rodgers, but that was flex. This Devontae and Carr stack might be the difference maker in this game.
Yeah, me personally, I'd be starting Kareem Hunt, just like you said. Or their running backs just have something, and Nick Chubb specifically. But I think it's an in-division matchup, and I would start him over Myers. Just because the whole receiving core from New England, I have Jacoby Myers just because I like the talent, but I just don't trust it. I have him stashed just in case he does develop some kind of consistency. But Kareem Hunt always has a touchdown upside, the receiving floor. So I would slot him in. He did have kind of a dud game last week. Talk
about it. He sold me in one of my leagues.
Yeah, but I would start him over Myers.
Oh, I can't agree with that one. I'd probably consider him over Pierce because Tennessee's been good on defense. But I think Myers with Mac Jones coming back that's his.
Well, the thing is, this is so you would slot in Myers over Pierce and throw in Hunt.
I would leave it exactly as is, but I would start Myers over Pierce, so then it would be between Pierce and Hunt.
No, man, I bought in Pierce train, so I'm not sitting him if he doesn't have a better option. I don't think Myers is a better option. I don't think Chicago is. I just don't think New England is going to need to throw. I think they're going to be up most of the game, and I don't think they're going to need to throw. Just that's the only reasoning why. If it was a situation where I felt like they might have more passing opportunity, I would be on the Myers. But aside from that,
who are you taking?
I think. Oof. You tell me, because this could go either way.
Motherfucker, you tell me first. For a reason. We ain't picked this one. I don't know.
No, bro. You know why I'm asking you to tell? Because I need some disparity. Right now, we're both bought in on the same picks for all 4 picks, and I need to increase my lead on the pick'ems.
So how about this, man? How about you tell me which way you lean in a little bit?
I'm leaning solid right now.
All right, perfect. I'm leaning Hunter. Bucket.
Were you really?
Yeah, it really was.
Okay, yeah, I'm leaning solid just because I think Eckler is a stud. They're playing Seattle. And Breece Hall is my fade of the week. That's my bust of the week. So, yeah, I'm picking solid to edge this one out. It's going to be a close one, though. This is definitely the matchup of the week, like you said. I
think the difference is going to be, this might sound crazy, it might be the defenses.
Yeah.
The Giants defense versus Jacksonville, how good are they going to be? And Green Bay versus Washington. I'm projecting the 2 booms to come against this Green Bay defense. So we'll see if that translates to points. And I even went as far as saying I'd start Brian Robinson over Clyde. So clearly I'm expecting some kind of pizzazz to be going on over there. Again, this isn't by a lot. The real reason is I feel very comfortable with Devontae Adams this week and Derek Carr against Houston, as well as Michael Pittman And I like his receiver room. Cooper feels like a tough matchup for the Ravens for some reason. I mean, he's literally elite, and I think Dak coming back is the difference. I think that is literally the difference. Dak is back, and I mean, he didn't have his name as Dak to the future for no reason. I think he's foreseeing something here. So this is our only disparity this week.
Yeah, had to be done, man. Can't, because then we're gonna end up with the same records, bro. I gotta mix it up a little bit. So I wanted to at least make at least one different choice, and I do think I'm gonna buy in on Solid. I think this is just it's a really interesting matchup because they both I think Solid has the running back edge, but then Hunter has the wide receiver edge, and we're in a 3 wide receiver league, but I could also see Kittle popping off.
You want me to be very honest? I think the biggest X factor that Solid has is T. Higgins.
Yeah, T. Higgins has been
he's been kind of bad the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he did have 10 points last week, but it wasn't it's not he was an kind of like what a third, some people a 4th, 5th round pick, depending on the size of your league, but he's not what we were expecting. So, some people had him ranked inside the top 10 for pre-draft as a top 10 receiver, edging out like that bottom 10 that bottom 10 slot, like 9-10. They had him ranked around, a lot of people had him ranked around where they had Tyreek Hill going, and we've seen what Tyreek is doing.
Disrespectful.
Which is so. T. Higgins, huge receiver, great hands, great. He's a really good receiver. But we just haven't seen it.
You actually drafted him.
Yeah. But I got my boy for him, which I'm not. I'm on that Godwin train.
Man,
so
I don't know if you remember, I was the only one defending you in this deal when it happened. Everybody said you were going.
Even
Kevin literally texted me and was like, "Bro, what the fuck is going on in this league? Like, did he slide him money under the table?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "He just got T. Higgins for a guy who's not going to play for like a couple weeks." And I was like, "Dude, Chris Godwin is better than T. Higgins, like now." And Henderson at that point, we didn't know what was going to happen. And you traded.
When I made that trade, I was buying in on Godwin, as everyone knows. Godwin was my fantasy value of 2022. I have him in every league, and this was the only league I didn't get him in, and I was very upset about that. So when Solid said that he was willing to trade me him for T. Higgins, and we were I told him I need somebody else because, like, T. Higgins, the value at the time was high, and I said he threw in Darrell Henderson, and I just happened to be the Cam Akers holder,
so it was perfect.
So it works out for me because I saw it as getting the handcuff and getting an equivalent or better receiver. That's how I saw it. Even Swift told me to my face that I got fleeced.
And we're not taking fantasy advice until that motherfucker gets a win.
All I do is laugh at all that because you're seeing the results. Mr. Godwin is back. He's in full effect. He's only going to get better as the season goes. As the whole Bucks offense, I feel the team in general is going to get better. But yeah, I think George Kittle would be my X factor for Solid, to be honest. George Kittle is known to have those 30-point games, those 30-point blow-up games. So I'm not saying that he's going to do that, but Kittle, I think he had 20 points last week? 20.3 points.
Yeah, and he had a good week.
Yeah, so I think with everything that's going on, the excitement with McCaffrey, and I think this team, and they're going to need to score, man. They're playing Kansas City, so I know you feel it might be one of the lower scoring games for them on the season, but I think they're still going to need to put up points, and George Kittle's going to have to be involved in the passing game.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. I might just take San Fran money line, and we'll see how that goes for me. I think that covers everything, doesn't it, man? We talked.
Yeah, it does.
We had a nice little lengthy episode. It's about an hour and 10 minutes. Yeah.
Unless you want to throw another tight end.
Oh, dude, really quick. Let's see who talks to me. Fucking man. let's do it. Who's humming?
You were talking about him. Look at Mr. 20.
Oh, the top 10 finish. K-Dot start of the week. I said he was the start of the week.
That's why I mentioned him, man. I saw the name. I saw him at 20, and I was like, wait, what?
I'll take it one step further, man. I'll sprinkle another little piece on there, man. I know y'all see the boy Daniel Bellinger. He's also going to be top 10 this week. I expect 50 yards and a tutty from homie. There you go.
I respect it. I'm in on the Kate Auden. Auden. How do you? I don't know how you say that. Yeah, Kate Auden.
Like caught.
But yeah, I'm in on it because we know Brady loves his slot receivers and tight ends, and you know, I think so after the loss from last week, man, I don't doubt the GOAT. I think the GOAT he probably lit fire in the maybe a literal fire from how heated he was.
Up, bro.
And I have people telling me, bro, I don't know how, if I was that team, I would not let Brady talk to me like that. He talking to them like that. Those are his sons. And I told him, that's what he earned, bro. He can talk to whoever the fuck he wants like that because that man.
You saw Jason Kelce talk about it?
No, what he said?
The Eagles the center from the Eagles, the all-pro center, Travis's brother. Yeah. He's like, if a quarterback comes to me, he talks to me like that, bro, we gonna fight. I was like, okay. And then Travis Kelce was like, but it's Tom though. He's like, yeah. He's lucky it's Tom though. He's like, everybody but Tom.
Exactly, bro. It's exactly, bro. He is the undisputed GOAT. So I cannot bet against him.
Nah, man, absolutely. I know we had somebody just sneak into this call and then leave, but we had somebody eavesdropping on the takes, man. But I think that just about does it, man. We can text him, tell him to come back on the call because the podcast is over. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. The NBA is back, man. Sports are in full effect, man. For all my Heat fans out there, we gonna bounce back. Don't you stress.
Yeah, man.
Don't you stress. Bam sold us yesterday. But don't you stress. Kyle Lowry sold us yesterday. But keep on stressing because he gonna keep on selling. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, staying clean, getting dirty, staying saucy.